I fear that one day my face will stay that way. Hello, that was my obligatory smile for Facebook and all of the other social media that takes an instant picture of how you look for your live video. And we are broadcasting live across the internation. On the Xander Gibb Show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's just get the sharing out of the way. It is so hot here. It's like 67 degrees and I'm sweating like Dick Cheney at a gay wedding. We are live for the Xander Gibb Show. What the hell is this that's coming up now? It's giving me half a page of code. Here we go. Facebook giving us hassle already. We will get there though. Okay, at the Xander we're getting there. If you just joined us, you are watching the pre-production segment of the Xander, like don't even know my own name, the Xander Gibb Show. We are getting there, but where I do not know. And now it's not letting me copy, and now I'm sharing, because sharing is caring, and I'm too hot. I am melting like a snow cone in Phoenix. Did you hear that Sheryl Crow has released a song called "We Need a Woman in the White House"? Honey, we got a woman in the White House. In the White House even. Her name is Melania Trump. And then I got to thinking, maybe she was thinking of the two that were there previous to that. The two that were there prior. And they're not women either, you know. They were two gay guys, Barry and Mike, from the Barry and Mike Show. We'll be talking a little bit more about Barry's new show, about Mike's new show. It's called "Yeah, What Up? My Name is Mike." No, it's called the Michael LeVar Robinson Show, and it's very popular apparently. I can't think why. Maybe it's popular with those that need advice on how to get the best breast augmentations or, you know, stuff like that. We're just sharing. Sharing is caring. And we're sharing the show, so feel free to share the show. I am melting already. Let's hope it cools down just a little bit because, like, it's not a good look on me and my hair goes all frizzy. Has my hair gone frizzy? Has my hair gone curly? What's that? Who's messaging me while I'm trying to do the show? It says chat commented on the video. I'll come and say hello to everybody individually in just one moment. I'm hoping that my brother Chet and all my fellow New Yorkers have got power back because, of course, we have this a-hole in charge called we have this a-hole in charge called Andrew Cuomo who needs like a kick in the butt. Right, let's just share it to Facebook. Quick pat down. All right, we're sharing. Let's see if I can do this with minimal sound. Oh God, right. It wants me to do it all individually, so I'm not going to be able to do it. So if all of you could share to at least one page, that would be great. Thank you so much, because I can't possibly share to all of those pages in like the little time I have left. Uh, you see, what it does is I need to sign out of my phone, and let's see if it'll let me do that very quickly. Hello to everybody in the live feed. I promise I will be coming to say hello to you. Let's see, log out. No, it's not letting me do it. Darn it. So if you could please click that share button, that will be great, because it's actually not letting me share to anywhere right now. So they get you coming and they get you going. We're going to start now. We're going to go live with the opening titles in 5, 4, 3, 2, gone.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Xander Gibb Show, the talk show that really does get you talking on the Xandemonium Network, live from an undisclosed location. And no, it ain't my mother's basement. Bringing you the best in Patriot broadcasting 5 nights a week. I'm Xander Gibb, and on tonight's edition, I get on my soapbox, breaking down and analyzing the real news. Stephen D. Snyder joins us. And in part 2, Stevie Burton from Freedom on Deck joins us to break down today's hottest topics. You can have your say in the feed below, and as usual, I'll be sharing your comments as we go, so keep them clean. You can follow me on social media everywhere but Twitter right now, because I'm still suspended and I don't know why. And it's probably because I'm conservative or some bullshit like that. And you can obviously find everything at xandergibb.com. Oh, yes, sir. Let's come to the live feed and go backwards a little and say hello to everybody. Please click share. Hello to Carla. Hello to Ron. Welcome to the show, sir. I hope you're doing good. Hello to Chet. Hello to caller again. Hello to Chet again. Hello to Ron. Hello to everybody that is watching but not in the live feed. Come and join us. We do not bite. Yes, Governor, with reference to New York, using the term very loosely. So it's now time for Xander's news of the day. Former first gay husband, Michelle/Michael Obama, has revealed how she has low-grade depression from the coronavirus quarantine, racial strife in the United States, and the hypocrisy of the Trump administration. Wait, did she not have depression from the sheer hypocrisy and misadministration of her gay husband? Barry's boyfriend made the remarks in the latest episode of the Michelle Obama podcast released on Spotify on Wednesday. I'm waking up in the middle of the night because I'm worrying about my penis. And there's heaviness, the former 56-year-old first gay Kenyan president's husband said. I try to make sure I get a workout in, although there have been periods. What would a man know about periods during this quarantine when I just felt too low? Mike, the linebacker Obama, said he had been through those emotional highs and lows, and that she thinks everybody feels where you just don't feel yourself. But how would you feel yourself? You were born a man. These are not fulfilling times spiritually, she said. I know that I'm dealing with some form of low-grade depression. Oh, honey, you are low-grade. You are very low grade, not just because of the quarantine, but because of the racial strife and just seeing this administration watching the hypocrisy of it all day in and day out is dispiriting, if that is even a word. But I have some advice for you, Michael Obama. If you don't like it, take your husband and your crisis acting kids and move. There you go. I said it. On Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen on Wednesday night, Meghan McCain was not thrilled with the fans' question about whether or not she would be returning to hosting her job on The View after giving birth to her first child. Wait, she's pregnant? I thought she was just paunchy. McCain even seemed a little annoyed as she quickly responded, "Why does everyone ask if I'm getting fired or quitting every 20 seconds? Because you're in the Viper's Den, honey, and you're dealing with those bitches every day, and you was just as big a bitch as them. I don't have to deal with this BS. Yes, I'm coming back. It's an election cycle." I'm like, yes. Why? McCain will have to leave temporarily, obviously, because of maternity leave. And the host did take to Twitter on Tuesday to endorse former New York Times editor Barry Weiss as a possible fill-in for her, as she tweeted this response in an opinion piece. You know, The View called me and said, would I like to be the conservative on the show for a while? I'm like, no, I've not had my shots, and, you know, I can't deal with that many bitchy women in one room, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Not going to happen. WNBA, you can tell I don't like sports, can't you? WNBA players openly rebelled against, I can't even talk tonight, against U.S. Senator and Atlanta Dream co-owner Kelly Loeffler by publicly endorsing her opponent in her upcoming Senate race. Players across the league wore Vote Warnock t-shirts before and after Tuesday night's games because he aligns with a lot of the things we align with. Phoenix Mercury Award winner Brianna Turner said in a statement released on Tuesday evening, Loeffler blamed out-of-control cancel culture for the players' decision to collectively stand against her. Well, isn't that their right, you know? Aren't they allowed an opinion? As long as they're not kneeling for the anthem. Gonna sneeze. A UK woman said she had to physically remove a chicken nugget from her 6-year-old daughter's mouth after she began to choke on it, she told the BBC this week. Laura Arbour said she found pieces of a protective face mask inside the chicken nuggets. Just because it says it's a Happy Meal doesn't mean it's safe, she said. McDonald's said it was investigating the incident and had taken action to ensure the product from this batch is removed from restaurants. I had to put my finger in her mouth to make her sick, and it came up all speckled with blue, she said. She examined the nuggets after her daughter started choking on her Happy Meal. She said the nugget filling contained mangled pieces of a protective face mask. Isn't that concerning? You know, they say masks are safe. Well, they're clearly not that safe when they're in your child's food. Hello to Maria. Welcome to the live feed. I have a feeling people are being kicked out again. And finally, presumptive Democrat nominee Joe Biden shrugged off a question this week after taking a cognitive assessment test, which President Trump has challenged him to. And I have to tell you that the Donald aced it. And they said it was Joe was misrepresenting what the test measures in an exchange with Errol Barnett during a wide-ranging multi-moderator interview at the Conference of Black and Latino Journalists. Biden balked at Barnett's question about whether Biden had even taken an exam. "No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test?" responded Biden, who then posed a rhetorical analogy. "Come on, man," he chided Barnett. "That's like saying before you got on this program, you took a test where you're taking cocaine or not. What do you think? Huh? Are you a junkie? Can you change my diaper? And what is my name?" he said, among other confused questions. So clearly, Biden knows he's dementing, and he doesn't want everybody else to know. Welcome to Swoop, to the live feed. That was Xander's news of the day. We got time for a couple of calls. If you are in the United States, you can call us on 845-363-4747. And if you're calling from the UK, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. That's 0208-133-5274. Ron says the governor of Virginia just signed legislation so illegals get to get driver licenses, and if you get a driver's license, you can register to vote at the Department of Motor Vehicles. Yeah, it's disgusting. It's happening in so many states. There are too many of these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. And I remember talk about suggestion that they were going to stop funding for these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states, but that never happened because that was too mean, and we have to be kind to illegal immigrants who break the law. Yeah, screw that. Chet says his rambling ass makes no sense. Yes, I have to agree. I really, really do. So we're going to take your calls. The phone lines are live. We've got time for a couple of calls. 845-363-4747 if you are calling from the United States. But if you are calling from the UK, you can call us on 0208-133-5274. 0208-133-5274. I'm still reeling about the fact that Sheryl Crow, whose music I really liked over the years, kind of comes out with this, political bullshit. We need a woman in the White House. I mean, please, get it. I would love a female president. Absolutely. 4 more years of Donald Trump. I wouldn't even mind a black female president as long as she is a Republican. And she's going to be someone that wants to make America great again. We have our first caller. What's your name and where are you calling from? You're live on the Xander Gibb Show. Hello?
Zan.
Hi.
Am I coming in good?
You are coming in good.
Breaking up a little bit. Sorry about that.
I didn't recognize your number. Maybe it's because I got my fan on, but it's like 67 degrees and like humid as hell here.
Yeah.
How is the world with you? And
we just got the power back a few hours ago.
God.
Good.
It must have been. I've been in when I was in New York. It happened to me a couple of times. Never for as long as this, but even for a few hours. When it's that hot outside, what the hell are you supposed to do? And did all your food spoil? Did you just have to keep the freezer closed and stuff?
No, I had the generator, so I ran a few things on the generator.
Right.
The biggest part of it is I live out of the I'm not close to town, so if you can't run your electricity, it's just impossible to get a hold of anybody.
Right.
So that was the most frustrating thing, and the other part of it is we weren't getting any answers from the electric company, and everybody was shouldering the blame on someone else, and that's always how it goes in New York. But I'm just happy that we have it back. Thank God.
Oh yeah, thank God. And that's an understatement, isn't it? Because I think that I spoke to you. I think it was yesterday, and you were saying how concerning it was for your mother to kind of be in the house like an older lady. No disrespect to your mom, but to be in the house, with no AC and all of these things. But I was thinking about this today. Do you think that this is part of a bigger picture with this level of control that the Democrats are trying to exert? I mean, is it not bad that we're still under partial lockdown, that we still don't have our lives back and our states back, and now they're taking our freaking power away?
Yeah, I don't know. There could be a lot of things involved here. It's a moving part, I guess you could say. I do know that they're clearly setting up for us all to be vaccinated. I mean, there's really no doubt about that anymore. And if people don't think that's what's going on, it is. They want to chip us. I mean, the bottom line is they want to be able to follow us to the far reaches of the earth if we so choose to go there. And they want to be able to monitor us in every... But you know what the other thing is, Xander? They already pretty much do that with the phones and all your devices at home. They're all watching us. They see us constantly, and the problem is they're not watching the real evildoers that are here, but instead they're concentrating on conservatives who are, patriots by blood and love the country
Right.
and support the president. They're ass backwards. Let's put it that way.
Oh, it's totally ass backwards because when we still have situations where the FBI are actually aware of people that are a terror threat and do nothing about it. They're on watch lists, and the watch lists are so bad that they end up bombing somewhere. That tells you how ass backwards it is in the United States. But unfortunately, it's the same in the UK too. The last terror incident, the one that was on London Bridge, that person had just been let out of prison after being in jail for a period of time for terror offenses. So it's not something that kind of goes away, but they don't keep enough of an eye on it. Do the thing is, for me, I don't give two shits about your civil liberties. If you're a terrorist and you're planning to hurt people, you don't deserve civil liberties. This liberal ideology that everybody's civil liberties are important. Your civil liberties are not important if you are looking to commit an act of terror. In fact, do you remember a few years ago the Nigerian guy that they took off the plane? He had a bomb in his underwear.
Yes.
Yeah,
Underwear bomber.
Yeah, I got grief because
Yeah.
I was interviewed on the BBC and I said they should have shot him on the tarmac. How can you say that, Xander Gibb? That's so cruel. He was willing to die for what he believes. So let me be the middleman. In fact, give me the gun. I will frickin' do it.
You know what, Xander? It is pathetic because the way America was once constructed, we would kill anybody that was either a traitor to us domestically, or if somebody came over foreign and
Right.
tried to attack us, we would also kill them. The death penalty for anybody that's fighting with ISIS. Why is ISIS considered okay? I mean, for God's sake, if we found a Nazi after World War II, we took him to the gallows and hung him up to dry. That
Yeah.
was it. Now it's like if you commit a terrorist act, they put you on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. And Bernie Sanders says that you should have the right to vote. I mean, these people are really sick. And this is only going to metastasize and get bigger if Biden ever gets put into the White House, which we certainly don't want to see.
Worst case scenario, I really don't think this is going to happen because I trust that my conservatives out there know the level of importance of this this election. But can you imagine? Because I would want to recount right away. Clearly, their efforts are towards having an unfair advantage with regards to mail-in voting and things like that. So clearly, we have to be on the ball with regards to this. Hi to Mike and to CV who just joined the live feed. We have to be on the ball about this, don't we, Chad?
Yeah, we do. And there's a lot of conservatives that do stay home. In 2016, I think it was 60% of conservatives that actually went and voted. And I'm saying to myself, my God, even if you weren't a supporter of President Trump, why would you want that creature on the other side to win?
Right.
I mean, Hillary Clinton, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And we do have to get people to the polls. We do have to tell everyone around us to make sure that they go and vote, because unfortunately, with a lot of the conservatives out there that I discuss politics with, they just seem too calm, and they just seem that it seems like it's going to be a steamroll for President Trump to be reelected.
Yeah.
Any time they say that, I'm saying, yes, in a fair election, you're right, but they don't want it to be a fair election. That's the whole point. They're going to try to rig it so that Joe Biden gets in there and pushes with Bernie Sanders' platform. It's going to be the crazies running the asylums, Zan.
Absolutely. And doesn't it scare you? I mean, I dream of being able to come back to America one day, but I could never come back to an America with Democrats in the White House. Because here's the concern for me. We started to dig ourselves out of this shit. We lucked out. We lucked out with Donald J. Trump. And if you think about how quickly they've torn all of this down, that tells you exactly I'm sorry, I'm flashing the white power symbol again. That tells you exactly how much they hate America and Americans. And that should disturb you enough to want to vote for someone who loves America. Hi to Ray, welcome. It's great to have you.
It's got, we want to fast forward and look into the future and look at a future with Joe Biden. Look at Joe Biden's positions on China. Joe Biden actually got in front of the world and said, they're not that bad, folks. They're not out to get us.
Yeah.
How can you sit there and say that? Well, he's owned by the Chinese. We know why. But how can you sit there and say that and the followers of Biden say, yeah, China's good. I mean, they only spy on us. They only have put 6 million of their own people to death.
Yeah.
They only harvest organs. They only, they just want to kill Americans. That's the bottom line. And if Joe Biden's going to get behind that, that's a sad situation.
Yeah, they only created a virus that has killed however many million people, and
that one,
and encouraged people to blame Donald Trump for that. Because the thing is, I don't think anyone else could have handled this any better than he has. He closed down the country before there was even one death. He took the advice of the CDC and the WHO, which you would actually expect a president to do. Because if he'd not taken the advice, he would have been damned for that anyway. And ultimately, I think that he's done his level best. Because how regardless of any loss of life, how does that look for any president? So obviously his ideology is going to be about saving as many people as possible, no matter what picture the left paints about him.
Even when they were examining Fauci, I don't know if you caught it, but Fauci admitted that President Trump saved countless lives, shutting down flights coming in from China and abroad in Europe, and he did. And the sad part about all that is President Trump had the same information that was given to Pelosi and the Democrats regarding COVID-19. He wanted to shut things down. He wanted things to basically quell, especially when it comes to terrorists and spreading this virus the way that they did. And I think it is terrorism. And the Democrats knew, and they still said, go out to eat, go to the movies, don't live your life in fear. And then when it all came to a head and they started to create it in order to make President Trump look bad, it's like they don't even acknowledge that they said that stuff at one time.
They don't.
And that's what ticks me off, because when I bring it to somebody that's attacking Trump, they're like, oh, they never said that.
Yeah.
And it becomes the truth because the media covers it that way.
But they forget that there are videos out there. We got to leave it because I'm going to have to bring my guest on in a minute. But don't you encourage people to go and find the video for themselves? In fact, I do the work for these lazy ass motherfuckers. I go and find the video, excuse my French, and then I give it to them. There you go.
I know.
That's what I do. Tell people where they can find your brother.
It is what they want, right? And they're not going to look for themselves because they know it's the truth.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Tell people where they can find you.
Just go to freedomondeck.com. That's where you're going to get all the links for the show on Sundays from 3 to 5.
Absolutely.
We've got back episodes, interviews with Xander Gibb. Also,
he's great.
On Facebook, our Twitter, all that other stuff, and you can go check that out too.
Absolutely. Sorry to kick you off, but I just saw the time. We could talk all day. Thanks a lot, brother. God bless you too. That was Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you check them out Sundays 3 till 5. freedomondeck.com. So our first guest, who should be calling any minute now, is comedian, actor, writer. His name is Stephen D. Schneider, and he will be calling us any moment now. Let's have a quick look at the live feed. Just once, I would like to say any moment now, like in the movies, and on the person call in right away. Ray says, I'm breaking down the numbers here in Wisconsin. Total population have 99.985 survival rate in the age group of not 59 years age, but 82% of the state's population, but only 120 deaths. That age group, that's 10,000 of 1%. Yeah, they've closed the whole world down for something that's not even really as bad as the flu, and this is why I think there's something behind it. Here we go. So this should be my first guest. Welcome back to the show, Stephen D. Schneider. Welcome back to the show, Stephen. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Xander. Thanks for having me. I just left my dominatrix appointment, and Miss Claudia was fantastic. So I'm glad to be here.
You see Miss Claudia? I see a brother, Mr. Dave.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good too. I've heard nothing but good things about him, but I don't roll that way. But I've heard nothing but good things about him too.
Try it on a Saturday night. You'll. Anyway, let's not go there. Don't want the FBC coming down as like 2 minutes into the interview. Let's jump right in with our first topic. See, this is the problem with having comedians on. They have you laughing before you get into the serious stuff. So Facebook yesterday took down a post by U.S. President Donald J. Trump, which the company said violated its rules against sharing misinformation about the coronavirus. Now, the post contained a video clip from an interview with Fox and Friends from earlier in the day, which President Trump claimed that children are almost immune to COVID-19. This video also includes, they say, false claims that a group of people immune from COVID-19, which is a violation of their policies around harmful COVID information. A tweet containing the video that was posted by Mr. Trump's campaign from the Team Trump account and shared by the president also was later hidden by Twitter also for apparently breaking its COVID misinformation rules. Now, the Trump campaign accused the companies, quite rightly, of bias against the president, saying Trump stated fact. Social media companies are not the arbiters of truth, said Courtney Perella, a spokeswoman with the campaign. Aren't we tired of this relentless bullshit and overzealous vetting? And why does a social media platform get to say what's correct and what's not correct medically?
Yeah, here's the deal. All of these people that claim to be fact checkers are full of shit, okay?
Right.
Just because they claim they're fact checkers doesn't mean they're the arbiters. And that's what they're trying to do.
Right.
Same way with Snopes and all these fact checkers. So first of all, they claim to be the experts, and they just give themselves that title on their own.
Right.
And they have no sources, and the sources they do cite, they cite each other. They cite all of the fictitious fact checker websites too. Now, not only that, we've got big tech meddling in the election. They are shutting down people's Twitters left and right. If
Right.
you are conservative, if you are libertarian, if you are independent, if you are a classical liberal, if you don't toe the line, you're getting shut down. This is what the Nazis did in the late 30s before they implemented the Holocaust. This is what they're doing. They're shutting down free speech. They're taking away your guns, and now they're coming for you next.
Absolutely. In fact, yesterday, I actually identified on Facebook, one of our guests, that's a regular guest. I was like, why aren't you sharing the show? And he's like, I am. And so I took a video of my view of his feed, and there was not one thing of mine on his feed, but he took a video of the same feed, and it was full of my stuff, even on days that he wasn't on. So Facebook and Twitter are shadow banning conservatives, and the concern is that why is no one stopping them? Why are they not hitting them where it hurts in the pocket? Because they're claiming to be a utility when they're actually a publisher, so they get cheaper taxes. It's time to wham them where it hurts, because they've got away with too much for too long. I thought President Trump had already started to do something about this, but I guess he can only do so much in the time allowed.
Well, and the problem is, it's not even from the left, Xander. It's from conservatives. I mean, people just sit around, bitch. They don't do a damn thing about it.
Right.
They're stupid. They're slow. They're fat. They're lazy. A lot of them, and they go along to get along. Okay, I'll wear my mask, but I'm not voting for Biden. Well, get off your ass and do something and get something. Come up with a platform like Facebook. Do something.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with our side. Our side doesn't do anything like
No,
that.
they don't.
They are victims of the left.
They don't. And they don't even support us. They don't share our shit. We're out there on the front line all the time. You, me, people like Chet, people like Joe Messina, we're all out there on the front line all the time. And they're like, whatever. And the concern is, for me, will they be saying, whatever, if that sleepy, creepy pedophile Joe Biden wins? Do you know?
Well, if he wins, the world, as you know, will be changed. And let's say this: the United States will no longer ever be the United States.
No.
If he wins, it will transform from a semi-free country to a utopian hellhole.
Yeah.
Something that Plato wrote in the Republic.
Yeah, and we'll have to start calling him Chairman Biden, and he'll be changing the name of Washington to Beijing too. Because let's face it, he's in China's pocket. China, and the whole reason for that is because they're giving him money. You know, all these corrupt politicians that are getting paid to further the influences of other countries rather than the United States. And it really pisses me off because nothing is being done about it. Why are we not looking into his bank account, Biden? Why are we not looking into his son's bank account? Because clearly they've been laundering money and getting paid for shit that they should have been getting paid for.
Well, the reason why we have it is because the left, even though they're very, very stupid and slimy and evil, because they've weaseled their way at the top of almost every single one of our major important institutions,
right,
including government, okay? So the media, academia, Hollywood, the IRS, I mean, they're all run by radical communists, okay? That's what they are. And that's why no one will look into it. And I think it's time that we deputize some people and just got some American patriotic men to go ahead and start arresting these people. That's really where it's going to come down to, is deputizing young men and allowing them to go out and arrest George Soros, give him a citizen's arrest, and then put him in front of a judge, the jury. That's what it's time for.
Absolutely. Well, he is the classic example of a domestic terrorist. You know, he's an American citizen, but he's funding Antifa, and so he's funding what has been classified as a terrorist organization. Why no arrest? Why is he still walking free and looking like a tortoise? You know, it's like, it beggars the question.
Well, he doesn't even know where he's at. Joe Biden can't even talk.
No.
They will not let him leave his basement because the man is mentally incapacitated. The Democrats know this. The media knows this. That's why they're going to not allow Biden to debate Trump, okay? And trust me, they're going to do everything everything in their ability to cheat, lie, steal, and scam their way through this election, because once they have Puppet Joe up there, they can implement all of their plans, all of their one world government BS, all of their propaganda, and they can open up the extermination camps, which, mark my words, that is on trend to happen in this country, the direction we are going.
It absolutely is, but isn't it a scary prospect that on November 4th, when all the ballots are counted, that they say that Biden has won? But, you know, I was just saying with Chet, I don't think that is enough just to say, okay, congratulations, Mr. Biden. I think we need to look into how that has happened. Hello to Yaz, welcome to the live feed. We need to look at how they have cheated and manipulated, because they don't have anything. They don't have any leadership. They don't have any policies. They have nothing to offer Americans. All they have is something to sell to other countries to make money for them and their families. So if Joe Biden wins by some miracle, I want to know why.
Yeah. Well, what they're going to do, Xander, this is why they're trying to push the mail-in voting. What they're trying to do is to create so much chaos on election night and hope that they have enough radical left-wing judges in their back pocket, including John Roberts on the Supreme Court, to implement their agenda, just kind of like the Bush versus Gore Supreme Court case in 2000, which should never have went to the Supreme Court case. It was a fraud. It was a scam.
Absolutely.
As soon as the certificate of application was stamped and sealed and approved by the Florida Attorney General, that's it. It's in the archives, and he won. Okay, so what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to overload the system. This is straight Cloward and Piven. Cloward and Piven. Everybody needs to remember this. It's the Cloward and Piven strategy. Overload the system, suppress people, and then hope that you come out on top. That's what they're trying to do. Cause chaos, and they're trying to cheat and steal and win this election by hook or crook.
Absolutely, and they've spent the last 20 years, you know, liberalizing our kids, sexualizing our kids, you know, getting into the colleges and getting all the lecturers to be liberalizing our young people. And so this is kind of like an ongoing plan, isn't it? It's not something they've just decided overnight.
Oh, correct. Absolutely. And again, it's our fault because we allow them to push us around.
Right.
We don't talk to our kids. We don't go to school board meetings. We don't walk precincts. We don't knock doors. We don't interact with our neighbors. We don't talk with our kids. We don't monitor everything. All we care about is football, baseball, Netflix, and food, and that's why Americans are the way they are. I mean,
Absolutely.
We're a fat group of people because we're stupid, we're sick, we're slow, we're fat, we're poor, we're lazy, and that's the problem with us, and it's our fault.
You forgot.
So we really get whatever leadership we deserve. We get whatever we deserve. We're
We do.
stupid enough to elect Joe Biden, then by God, it'll be great going down with the Titanic with everybody.
Yeah. You forgot to add sex to that list, but we'll save that topic for another show. I want to jump into our next topic. California Representative Karen Bass, top contender to be the presumptive Democratic president nominee, Sleepy Joe Biden's 2020 running mate, denied having ties to the Nation of Islam, despite photos and event appearances linking her to the group. Bass has appeared at events and has been photographed with a top Nation of Islam official, Tony Muhammad, who praised her as one of the few members of Congress that he trusts. Bass also attended a forum organized by Final Call, the official communications organ of the National Nation of Islam. And Louis Farrakhan has described Jewish people as satanic, praised Adolf Hitler as a very great man, blamed Jewish people for both the Holocaust and 9/11. Farrakhan has also denounced interracial marriage, which he said has mongrelized the black race. Isn't that racism in itself? The Nation of Islam holds white people. They said they were created 6,000 years ago as a result of selected breeding program by a scientist called Yaqub. The teaching of the birth of the white race has been central to the belief system of the Nation of Islam, and it's been met with hostility and profound resistance by its critics, who have most commonly termed it hate teaching. The Final Call of the Nation of Islam's official mouthpiece states on its website, if you cannot denounce it, Karen, you support it. So do you think we need a vice president, even a nominee, that cannot denounce an organization like the Nation of Islam?
No, and she not only is a Nation of Islam supporter, she's a big Castro supporter. She's a big Cuba commie.
Right.
Now, you got to understand something. Joe Biden is purposely choosing a woman and a woman of quote color, even though that we're all colors, and I kind of look like I'm Spanish right now because I'm so tan. But so Joe Biden has essentially shown that he is a sexist and a racist all at once by basically saying, I'm only picking a minority woman. Okay, pick Candace Owens. Come on, Joe. Put your money where your mouth is. You become slob. Yeah. Pick Candace Owens. How about Stacey Dash? She's amazing. She's a good friend of mine. How about Stacey Dash? How about somebody? How about, it could be anybody, Michelle Malkin. But he's not going to. See, it's party first, it's politics first, and he's not going to pick her. He's going to end up picking Kamala Harris, who got her start by giving Mr. Brown blowjobs in California. If you don't believe me, go ahead and Google it, folks. It's true. So he's going to pick her, or he's going to pick this Hirono girl. He's going to pick a woman who's a radical leftist. He may even pick that big fat slob Stacey Abrams, who lost the Georgia gubernatorial.
I would rather have Stacey Dash than Stacey Abrams. I mean, put them next to each other. Stacey Dash is a lot more easy on the eye, and this is a gay guy, saying this. So,
but she's fantastic.
Isn't this affirmative action in practice? Because the ideology of appointing someone because of their race and sex is discriminatory. We've discussed this on the show before. But can you imagine if President Trump said, "I don't want Mike Pence now. I want a white woman"? America would go mad. America would say, "You can't do that. That is sexist and racist."
Yeah. Well, no. The problem is that most people aren't paying attention. Most people aren't forward thinkers. People just sit there and they drool and they're dumbed down from the fluoride in the water, the GMOs, the crap they're putting in. And they're just sitting there, they're dumbed down, they're lazy, and they just don't pay attention to stuff. That's why the average American is just asleep. They're asleep, they're not awake. And a nation of sheep will be ruled by wolves, and Joe Biden is a wolf.
Absolutely. Did you see they put out this thing recently that apparently Democrats vote on a different day to us? They have to vote on the 5th. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, Democrats have to vote on the 5th. Yeah. No, that's great. And then, that's right, Democrats. You guys need to be voting on, actually, is it November 6th? I think it's November 6th. It's either the 5th
it's
or the
the
6th.
6th.
Democrats should be voting on.
Yeah.
I think that's the day.
Yeah, I think if your name begins with A to K, it's the fifth if you're a Democrat, and if it's K to Z, it's the sixth. So if you have Democrat friends out there, be sure to tell them because they're dumb enough to believe it. The ultimate thing for me is it's like when people can't decry, radical Islamic terrorism. That tells me that you support it. Should we not expect in the Pledge of Allegiance from our representatives that they decry that bullshit too? Because it's anti-American.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And look, they're not pro America. They're anti-America. They're anti-free speech. They accuse us of what they're doing.
Right.
And if you get around radical leftists, I'm not talking about like well-meaning old, PC hippie liberals. That's not who I'm talking about. Okay, you get around hardcore bicoastal, wealthy elite white leftists. They are the most racist, anti-Semitic, just nasty group of vile, disgusting, devil-worshipping trash you could ever imagine. And that's the thing. If you're around them enough, you're going to see it.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? I get very concerned that, Joe Biden has the audacity to talk about appointing a black woman when he spent 40 years trying to segregate, 40 years calling black people Negroes, 40 years calling black people predators. When you look at the parties side by side, they have the audacity to call President Donald Trump a racist. And I have not heard, I don't know, maybe you've heard, maybe you have an example. I have not heard one tangible example of his supposed racism. And frankly, this is the left's MO. They accuse you of what they actually are. And I've not seen one example of President Trump being racist.
Oh, absolutely not. You got to remember something. President Trump, before he became president, rappers used to put him in their rap videos, songs, and have lyrics about him. And they would go visit him at Trump Tower. And Trump, how many golf courses that were only white only Trump purchased and allowed every race.
Yeah.
And the thing is that they're all jumping on the bandwagon to say he's this, he's that, because they're part of the global elite 1%, okay? They've climbed to the top of the house with the ladder, and now they've pulled the ladder up because they don't want any competition. This is the MO of the radical, rich leftists.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, everything about the Democrats is about identity politics. It's race, it's sex, it's religion, it's this, it's that. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that buy that hook, line, and sinker. But if you want to know who's responsible for segregation, the KKK, and Jim Crow, it's the Democrat Party.
It absolutely is. And I'm sure it wouldn't surprise you. I get emails all day, all the time from gay Democrats saying you're an openly gay man, an openly gay American. Why are you not voting for the Democrats? Well, they're the ones that are supporting organizations and religions that are throwing gay people off roofs and treating them badly. Why would I want to support a party that does that? It is that simplistic.
The last time I checked, Xander, gay people have a right to free speech. Gay people should have a right to arm. The last time I checked, gay people don't want to pay high taxes. The last time I checked, gay people want safe schools. The last time I checked, gay people want good schools. The last time I checked, gay people want clean water. And this is the problem. This is the problem. They just try grouping you in, and it's stupid. And everything I just said right there, they will just poo-poo, and they'll get mad at me, and they'll throw water in my face, but it's absolutely true.
Exactly. We got to leave it there because, as usual, we've talked the time away. But tell people where they can find you, Stephen, and where they can find out about what you're doing right now.
Well, right now, you guys, I'm writing a book and doing a podcast. It's called How to Be a Miserable Failure. You can go to howtobeamiserablefailure.com for the book, the podcast, the merchandise, everything we're doing. How to Be a Miserable Failure. Howtobeamiserablefailure.com.
Yeah, absolutely, and the liberals will love it. Listen, thank you so much. Stephen D. Schneider, I hope we get to speak to you again very soon, my brother.
Thanks, Xander.
Thanks, brother. Take care. That was Stephen D. Schneider. Yep. Make sure you go and check him out. So my next guest, if I can bring them on, I don't know what's going on with the Skype, is from Freedom on Deck. He is one of the co-hosts. He's a regular on the show. His name is CV Burton, and he joins us now from the United States of America, God's own land. Welcome back to the show, CV. Thank you for joining us. How is the world with you, sir?
Dark and humid.
So how come you haven't got power and CV does and Chet does? See, you two are twins. How come?
Mixed up.
I know. How come he's got power but you don't?
Because he lives in the hoity-toity Southamptons and I only live in Century.
Ah, right.
But, Cuomo directed all air traffic to not fly over the Hamptons where his buddies live. But I saw a military formation, two of them, flying right over my house yesterday, and a police helicopter. It's like I'm in the middle of a highway, an air highway.
Crazy.
They're always flying over my house. They're making me nervous.
Yeah, it is a worry, isn't it? Every time I hear helicopters, and when I used to live in London too, I always used to think it was an escaped convict and that they might break into my house. I want to jump right into our first topic, buddy, because we are, as always, we are time bound. Vice President Mike Pence isn't happy that Chief Justice John Roberts played a role in upholding the Affordable Care Act and rejecting a Nevada church's challenge to the coronavirus restrictions, calling him a disappointment to conservatives. Amen to that. In an interview with the Christian Broadcast Network on Wednesday, Mike Pence said cases are a reminder of how important this election is for the future of the Supreme Court. Roberts also sided with the court's liberal wing in June to strike down a Louisiana abortion law, and Pence said ruling should be a wake-up call for pro-life voters around the country who understand in a very real sense that the destiny of the Supreme Court is on the ballot in 2020 also. Soon, President Trump will publish a list of men and women from which he will draw any future appointments to the Supreme Court of the United States. Mike Pence also added that he did in 2016, he kept his word. He's going to do that in the fall of 2020. And the next 4 years, he'll keep his word and appoint more principled conservatives to our courts. My first question to you, CV, is whose pocket is John Roberts in?
I think he's in Obama's pocket, first and foremost, because this is my theory. I don't know everything. I'm not the old wise man on the hill who sees all. But my hunches are usually right, and I believe that Barack Obama's administration was spying on Congress, and that's been in the news recently, by the way.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I wanted to prove here, but I have no internet. But I was reading an article that somebody in Congress was trying to get the documents released that show that the intelligence community was spying on Congress and perhaps still is spying on Congress. And when you're spying on Congress, that means all their emails, that means all their internet activity. So if they're spying on Congress, it's not a far leap to assume that they're spying on the Supreme Court justices as well.
Right.
And who knows what's in his closet, Did he, what kind of porn is he watching? Something he's not proud of. It may not be something criminal. It just may be something that he doesn't want out there.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the last thing that he did when he sided with liberals, a lot of people said that they thought that maybe he was being blackmailed, which would kind of make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then Andrea Kaye is in this school of thought that says, they don't have, these people, these rhinos don't have to be blackmailed. It's sort of like a girl trying to justify why a guy didn't call her back.
Right.
And they're trying to come up with all these excuses why the guy didn't call her. And maybe the guy just wasn't that into you.
Wasn't that a TV show?
Female perspective.
Wasn't that a TV show, a movie he called He's Just Not That Into You?
Yeah, I think so. But that doesn't preclude the possibility that he's being blackmailed. I mean, both things can be true.
Right.
And also he was appointed by George W. Bush, who also was a big disappointment to most conservatives. I mean, look
Absolutely.
George Bush is going to vote for Biden. Think about that.
Yeah, what does that tell you? But it's globalists supporting globalists, whichever side of the fence they're on, and that's the concern to me. Because as a conservative that is not a globalist, I would not then go and vote for a Democrat that wasn't a globalist. I mean, I'm not sure if they exist, but it just doesn't follow, does it? Either you're a it's common knowledge that George Bush is a rhino, and so was his father. They were both globalists.
Yeah. hmm And it's social globalism, I think. We should clarify that because
Yeah.
had it not been for Donald Trump, I wouldn't have been keen on knowing anything about globalism. I was just, I know about corporate donors, and I know big corporations have no loyalty to America. I already knew that, but the way he shined the light on it, and the way that he shined the light on the Republicans who also support globalism,
Right.
it really opened my eyes. So it was an education. Everybody says, Donald Trump is so dumb, he doesn't read, he doesn't listen to people, this and that, blah, 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 blah. You know what? He's so smart that even moderately smart people don't even recognize how much smarter he is than them.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's like so over their head smart that they can't even see it.
Absolutely, and I think a huge part of the problem is because he's actually painted in that way. But as the, I think that this is a very crucial election, and I think that we should be voting Republican all the way. But in the future, don't you think that we should be looking to appoint like non-globalist Republicans, because they, as far as I'm concerned, globalism does not feed into the Republican ideology. I can't see that the two are compatible.
Well, I think the term that is the opposite of globalism is America First.
Right.
And Donald Trump represents America First Republican. I'm America First.
We lost you there, CV. Are you still there?
What's up, by the way?
Oh, you're back.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
I think
go ahead.
Donald Trump is a libertarian, and I think America First is the opposite of globalism.
Yeah.
And what we have to do is, in the primaries, we have to elect America First Republicans, not globalists.
Yeah.
Fake Republicans.
I think the opposite of globalism is nationalism, surely, because the thing is that globalism, it puts everywhere else first before it puts your own people first. But nationalism was bastardized for so long because it was seen as a racist ideology, and that was another tool of the left. But nationalism is not racism because you're putting everybody from that country first, and that should be how it is.
Anonymous with nationalism, but nationalism got a dirty reputation.
It did.
Because they assumed that Nazism was nationalism.
Yeah.
But what they forget is that it was communistic nationalism. China are nationalists, but they're communists.
Absolutely. I want to jump on to our next topic because we're time bound. So the school that Shamima Begum and two other schoolgirls attended before they left the UK to become Islamic State brides today said it has introduced a robust initiative to prevent pupils from being radicalized. Bethnal Green Academy, where Begum, then 15, was a pupil when she left with two friends to travel to Syria in 2015, was taken over by the Mulberry Academy chain in 2018. In 2015, the school was criticized for failing to do more to spotlight girls that could be at risk. And after a friend had traveled to join ISIS just before, Mulberry said it was a very different school now, and measures were in place to include personal, social, health, and economic, educational, and pastoral health system, and a strong parent liaison. Shouldn't all schools be keeping an eye out for radicalization?
Oh, yeah. But what I think about this particular case is when I look at the pictures of these women, they're not, this is going to sound racist, I don't care. You just can't help but noticing that these three girls from that school have blonde hair, brown hair, blue eyes, green eyes. They don't look like Irish, Welsh, English, or Scottish to me.
Right.
They look like refugees. They look like Arab refugees that were probably Islamic already.
Yeah.
And I think the people to be blamed here is the British Parliament for having Obama-like policies
Yeah.
of bringing in these fake refugees, and I emphasize fake because none of these people are looking for refuge.
No.
They're looking to take over the West.
Yeah. Where were all of
And
the
they're
women
making up
and the children?
excuses.
Where were all of the women? When you see the video footage of all these supposed refugees being brought from Syria to Europe and to the UK, where were the women? You can't tell me that all of these refugees were men. And then they behave the way they do. That was a second stage infiltration. That wasn't bringing in refugees. That was ridiculous.
Yes, but even the few women that did get through, they want to go back. Those one, like those from that school.
Yeah.
So I reject the idea that they were radicalized.
Yeah.
They were radicalized, like they didn't have a
Yeah.
rotten heart to begin with.
Yeah.
Please.
So you're basically saying
They hate the West. They hate capitalism.
Yeah.
They want Sharia law.
Yeah.
And they wanted to help ISIS kill Christians and Jews.
You can't
Period.
be.
End of story. It wasn't because they were radicalized. It's because they're evil scum.
Yeah, because you gotta want to
I
be.
don't blame the school. I blame British Parliament.
You gotta want to be radicalized. It's not like someone could just come along and say, "Hey, let me radicalize you." You see, the part of the problem here is that conservatives in the UK and conservatives in America are worlds apart. You know, they call themselves conservatives, but they're absolutely not. And ultimately, what happened was, you know, this happened with the Tommy Robinson stuff as well. What they did is they just became so soft and didn't want to be called racist that they were actually prepared to ignore even gangs of Muslims going around and raping little girls just because they wanted to be PC. And to me, you know, any government that does that is complicit. And that's the concern. Yeah. This is why I always go to great pains to say there is in America I'm a conservative. I'm not sure what the hell I am in the UK because they are worlds apart. Because American conservatives would not allow that kind of thing to happen.
No. And if anybody deserves refugee status, by the way, in America, it's Tommy Robinson. Because the way he's being treated in his motherland of England is abominable.
Yeah.
I feel so sorry for the guy. He's so abused. The justice system in Britain is so corrupt. Yeah. There is no law. I mean, they write the law so vaguely that they could take anybody they don't like a good hero like Tommy Robinson, and twist the law around and say he's guilty of something when he didn't do anything wrong at all. And then they keep throwing him in jail for the same crime, hoping that somebody in prison will kill him, pull an Epstein on him.
Yeah. But let's face it, what did he do wrong? He identified that there were Muslim rape gangs going around and raping little girls. He highlighted it, and then the police did nothing about it, and he continued to highlight it. And then they said, if you continue highlighting this, we're going to take action against you. And the thing is, I'm not a parent. I don't know if you've got daughters, but even if you've got sons, as a parent, you have a different ideology about this kind of thing, don't you? Let's face it. Because the first thing you think is, this could have been my kids that these bastards were doing this to.
Oh, it's horrible what they were doing. And the British socialists that were in control at the time, I don't know if it's much improved under Boris Johnson, but at the time, he was interviewing the people the criminals who were already convicted. He wasn't swaying the jury or influencing the outcome of the case at all, because they were already convicted. They were just going there to be sentenced, and as they were approaching the building, he asked them a question, and for that he was put in jail twice. Yeah. And every time he goes to court to answer for this supposed crime, you have the media asking him questions.
Right.
And like, why is it okay for them to ask him questions, but he's not allowed to do the same thing as a journalist?
Absolutely, it's absolutely disgusting because what they do is, even the leader of the Labour Party in the UK, which is the equivalent of the Democrats at the time, said these girls should shut their mouth, so that we can have kind of good relations in the community. Screw the community. Children being protected comes before anything. And you know what? Whether you're a Catholic, Christian, Muslim, whatever you are, if you do these things to children, your ass needs slamming to the wall. And I can't say what I would like to do to these people on air, but I'm sure you can guess. And any government that cannot sanction the protection of children does not deserve to be in power.
Right. And if Britain stopped this fake refugee policy and enforce the laws that are already on the books, believe me, those radical Muslims that seem like they're taking over London and various other areas of England or the UK, they wouldn't want to be there anymore. If they enforced the laws evenly, it would make them all go back to Turkey and Syria.
I remember in the early 80s when people were coming in from other countries and saying how bad the UK was and stuff like that. And I remember, people my parents' age saying, well, if you don't like it, go back to where you came from. But that was considered racist. But here's the thing. Why leave your country to come to another country to criticize it? If your country is so good, stay the hell there. Isn't it that simple?
Right. Yes, it is. And Islam is not a race.
No.
Islam is a religion, the political ideology.
Absolutely.
It's something that you are totally 100% free to hate if you want to.
Absolutely.
You can hate it. You can debate it. You can argue against it. You can discuss it. You can do whatever you want to it.
Absolutely.
You can turn around and walk away from it, or you can confront it. It's your choice.
It totally is.
It's not a race. It's an idea.
Yeah, it's an ideology.
You're allowed to debate ideas.
We gotta leave it there, unfortunately, CV. But tell people where they can find you and where they can hear more of your thoughts and ideologies of your own.
Every Sunday between 3 and 5, we're on the radio on Rhode Island, New York, and Connecticut, and it's a Fox News channel. And you can find out more about it on freedomondeck.com, where I just updated the news page today. I haven't been able to do it because I had no internet. But I hear that around 11 o'clock tonight, I'm going to get my internet back. I'm going to get my power back.
Yay.
Not my internet.
Praying for you to get your power back, brother. Listen, thank you so much. We will speak to you again next week. Have a great night, and I can't wait for you to get your power back. We will speak to you very soon.
May the power of the Holy Spirit protect you and keep you and help you fight the evil in this world.
Yes, the power of Christ compels you. Thanks so much, brother. Take care. God bless you. Bye. That was CV Burton from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you check him out. Make sure you check out the show Sundays, 3 till 5 Eastern. Check out freedomondeck.com. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to my brother Chet from Freedom on Deck calling. Thanks to comedian and actor Stephen D. Schneider for being our first guest. And thank you to CV Burton from Freedom on Deck being our second guest. Not had your fill of the Gibster. You can check me out on 5 nights a week. My brain just died. 5 nights a week, 5 Pacific, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 1 in the UK, 12 in 10 in Australia. Join us for more scintillated chat tomorrow when the same said Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck will be joining us then. I have been Xander Gibb. Thanks to everyone in the live feed. Thank you for sharing. Thanks to Jason, who I didn't get a chance to say hello to. Please click the share button because it wasn't letting me do it. I really do love you all, and I will see you all tomorrow. Stay safe. I've been Xander Gibb. Good night.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were the other bound to change when it was found.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb Show. Oh yes,